Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of the Animanicast.
Gee, Ray, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Welcome again to the Animanicast. We are a podcast dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs. We're going to revisit each episode of the series, discussing cultural references and gags, share our memories of first watching the episodes, and in the end, we'll give each episode a water tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again are my two co-hosts, my brother from the same mother, Nathan.
Woohoo! That's me, Nathan.
And across the country in lovely Georgia is Kelly.
Hello.
And today is episode 2 from season 1, which originally aired on September 14th, 1993. What are our initial thoughts on this episode? I personally enjoyed it quite a bit. Nathan, I'm going to go to you next because I think Kelly has some definite thoughts on this episode. So I'm going to go to Nathan next. Nathan, what are your initial thoughts on this episode?
My initial thoughts were I'm watching the same episode. And then I went on to, I'm enjoying this episode.
That's right, because it started off with the Newsreel of the Stars again, which was exactly the same. So, yes, I could see how you could definitely get confused.
Like, I hit play again, repeat, so I got to...
Yeah, that was one of the things, and now that you're mentioning it, that was one of the things that I do remember from the initial run of Animaniacs was you never quite knew what episode you were going to be watching that time because it felt like almost every episode started with Newsreel of the Stars, which again is understandable. It was only the second episode. But anything else, any general thoughts on this episode, Nathan?
I think it's a good episode.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll go more in depth as we go through the episode.
All right. And Kelly, what about you?
I think it's one of the best episodes ever.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. And just for the record, today's verse variant was
Pinky and the Brainy.
I am a huge fan of Pinky and the Brain. And this was really our first introduction to Pinky and the Brain this episode. And it was truly a classic episode. This was an episode later that we'll talk about it that was rerun quite often, even on the Pinky and the Brain show later. They just kept showing it. So that was cool. Now, we've already talked last episode about the Newsreel of the Stars. It's basically the same thing. In fact, identical, the same thing.
I think when I saw it the first time, I think I was thinking that they would open every episode like that. Like that was just part of the opening, but they only did it occasionally.
I wonder if they did any. I'll have to, because I don't know off the top of my head, honestly. I wonder if they did that just in the first season, or if they went ahead and did the Newsreel of Stars into season 2 or 3 or whatever.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, as we watch them.
But starting off, Kelly, I'm gonna go right to you for this first segment because the first segment is Yakko's World, and lyrics for this were written by Randy Rogel or Rogel. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that.
I think it's Rogel.
Yeah, that's. I think I heard that somewhere. So Randy Rogel, and was directed by Rusty Mills. Well, synopsis is Yakko singing about the nations of the world, but Kelly, this I think goes to you quite. This song spoke to you.
It sings to my heart.
Yes. What can you tell us about Yakko's World and your experience with the song?
It was like the clip they used to advertise Animaniacs, so I saw it all the time, and I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was so catchy, and I love, it was educational. Yakko's pointing to all the countries and, singing about them and everything, and I realized I had to know the song, so I videotaped the little clip when they showed the commercials and the episode, whichever one I got, and but then my mother bought me the cassette tape. This goes back to cassette tapes, kids. That had all the lyrics in the liner notes, I guess. And I decided I wanted to learn the whole song and memorize it. And I did. And I had the opportunity to meet Rob Paulson probably about 5 years ago. And I asked him about the song. I said, yeah, I can sing it. And I wasn't going to take away, his spotlight or anything. So he sang it for us. But he said that I think he only did it in 2 takes. And he said, this is for my friend Kelly, who loves the song. And, I'll sing it for you. And then it was last year at Dragon Con, Randy Rogel was there, and Rob Paulson's assistant was sitting down when I went up to talk to Mr. Rogel and get some sheet music, because it had some of the songs that he'd written, and he had sheet music at Dragon Con. And the guy, he remembered me from that event I attended with Rob Paulson. He's like, you're the one who can sing the song. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And Randy Rogel's like, really? And I said, yeah, I can do it. He's like, do it. And so I had to do it right in front of him and at Dragon Con.
Oh my gosh.
And usually I'll only do it when I'm drinking. So that's like my drinking game, But
well, that's even more impressive.
Yeah, and I only got a little nervous and stumbled a little bit, but I pretty much nailed it, and he was pretty impressed. So I was like, oh my gosh, I just sang the song for the guy who wrote it, and now my life is complete.
Awesome. That is too cool. That was just last year at Dragon Con?
Yeah, I think so. It was like the very last day, and I was going around just getting up some extra autographs and meeting people that were still at the Walk of Fame. And a friend of mine had said that he was selling the sheet music, and so I was like, I got to go and meet him and get some sheet music. And yeah,
wow,
that's what I did.
That's so cool. Well, I'm gonna have to. Maybe there's a recording of that somewhere that I can find.
Not for public consumption, but there are recordings.
You do not have her consent.
No, I'm just talking about.
I think there may be video somewhere.
Well, I'm wondering also if there's video or audio of Rob Paulson, because did he sing that? Did he basically dedicate that re-singing of it to you in front of the crowd and everything?
Well, yeah, he did, and I actually did videotape it, and it should be on Big Shiny Robot. Actually.
Well, there we go. So we'll
find it. I'll send you the link, and maybe you can share it with our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if possible, we'll put the audio in right here.
All right. So for my dear friend Kelly, who knows this song, I'm going to sing it for you now. Are you ready? Let's see if I know all the words to it. I think it goes something like this. It goes, United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam, Norway, and Sweden, and Iceland, and Finland, and Germany, now in peace, Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait, and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, and Denmark, and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan. Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan. Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan. Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, and Borneo, and Vietnam. Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana, Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, Benin, and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Greek, Mauritania, then Pennsylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
There we go.
I liked it.
Wasn't that awesome?
That was really good. I'm really impressed.
I loved listening to that just now.
Magic.
Okay. So that is fantastic. My own personal reflections of this are that, number one, I tried to sing along with the song. I do remember getting the CD of this, and yes, the
CD.
liner. Yeah, I know. I'm not no cassette tape for me.
You make me feel old now.
No, but I got the liner notes. Yeah, that was pretty much the way to do it, to make sure you got all the countries. I mean, obviously you could try to rewind it and pause it and write down each country's name. But that was a little difficult to do. But some of my own personal reflections of this are actually in my school. We had a geography club, and one of the students at my school, this was probably 5 years ago, I believe, maybe a little bit more. I think he's in college actually right now, but he was so into geography, and this song just, really spoke to him, and he used it so often. It really helped him in the geography bee that we had at our school. So it continues to have positive influences on kids today. Nathan, what are your thoughts about this song?
I remember knowing the first part of the song. All right, Canada.
Yep. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama.
I'm like, yay, I know these. And then once it gets towards the end, I'm like, whoa.
Okay, Nathan and I will go through it because we don't know it by heart. And then...
that's about as far as I got.
We're going to go for it. Okay, here we go. Ready? United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
That's it.
Republic Dominican,
Dominican,
Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too.
Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala,
Bolivia,
then Argentina,
Mm-hmm.
Ecuador, Chile, Brazil.
I'm already gone.
Okay, hang on. Is it Costa Rica next? Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I'm stuck.
Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam.
Okay. Keep going, Kelly.
Norway and Sweden, Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece, Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran. There is Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen's, Kuwait, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, England, Denmark, and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan. Mongolia, Laos, Tibet, Indonesia, Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam. Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana, Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo. The Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, Benin, and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Niger, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
Woo! Yeah.
That was amazing. Wow. See, I can't do that.
Yeah, I got
that is talent, ladies and gentlemen. Talent. That's amazing. Well, now for some trivia about this particular song. The song is technically incomplete, as any nerd geography nerd out there will tell you. They'll say, "Oh, they actually missed over 40 nations." I feel like the comic book nerd. "Oh, actually, whatever." But that's not even including the ones that were created after the song was written. Some other things of note is that the song includes Palestine, and that's actually a negotiated nation, or some people will say that it's a nation, other people won't. The world map shows Russia with Soviet-era borders, and it's inaccurate even for that time, because the Soviet republics had gained independence in 1991, and Czechoslovakia had actually been split up for 8 months at the time the episode aired, but probably because of the lead time, because of animation, it was likely split, and they hadn't had time to actually re-record any of that. I kind of understand all that, though, because especially with the world map, with the Soviet Union being all in one piece, it would be really hard to draw all the different countries right there, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Sing them, too.
Yeah. So that's just the little nitpicky kind of thing right there. There is an updated version of this song that Rob Paulson put together. They'll be touring the Animaniacs sing-along. I guess it's going around, and so our listeners out there might be able to hear the new version of The Nations of the World. So that'd be kind of cool. Look up for that. Any other thoughts on segment 1 before we move on to number 2?
I really enjoy it.
Sorry. I was just going to share a little tidbit, because it actually is a pretty educational song, because one time I was watching Jeopardy, and the contestant answered asked the question to an answer, and he said, "What is Namibia?" Like Nabibia or something. And I said, "No, that's not how you pronounce it. That's not correct." And my mother was saying, "Oh no, that's correct." And I said, "No, they're going to come back after the commercial break and rule it incorrect." So they came back, and Alex is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. The correct answer is, what is Namibia?" Because it's Namibia. And because I knew the song, I was like, I know how to pronounce it correctly. So I knew that because I memorized the song. So it's truly educational, even though it's a little out of date now.
Yeah.
Well, it at least shows where all the countries are, too. Like, I mean, when you're in that, like, watching Yakko point to all the...
It's something. I think it's something that's lost today, and there was a lot more geography shows when we were kids.
Carmen Sandiego.
Exactly.
That's
Carmen. Do you remember Carmen Sandiego, right, Nathan?
Yeah.
I used to want to be on that show so much as a kid. I used to be like, "Oh my gosh, if I get to be on, then I get to go to any state in the United States. That's so cool." And I always never understood why kids never picked Hawaii or Alaska. I think they made the kids pick the 48.
Yeah,
but,
it's probably within the continental USA.
Yeah, but anyway, I would like tune in and hope they would get like an easy country for like a North America or South America, because I had those down. If they said Africa or Europe, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not so sure anymore. But yeah, I miss geography shows like that. They don't have any more like that. So
yeah, nowadays kids don't even know Carmen Sandiego.
I showed clips. Kelly, you'd be surprised. Just so many different things that kids are just like, what? But I showed some stuff about Carmen Sandiego to my social studies class a few years ago, and they were so into it. They're like, "This is a show?" I was like, "Yeah, well, when I was your age, yeah."
Wow.
And they had no idea what Carmen Sandiego was. So
that's a shame.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I want you to do. You know what it is?
Yeah!
Well, let's move on to segment 2. Here we go. Cookies for Einstein. This was written by Paul Rugg, and it was directed by Alfred Jimeno. And I had totally forgotten about this episode. Nathan, do you want to tell us about this episode?
Sure. This is an episode where at times I kind of feel bad for Einstein, but other times I realize how funny it all is, that he's not very smart. It has some great lines, like stupid, dummy, poo-poo face, Einstein.
I am a failure. Einstein is a dummy. Stupid Einstein, dummy boy.
But that is a funny line there. It's about so basically the Animaniacs are part of the Kid Scouts, which of course is a parody of the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. And they're trying to sell cookies. They need to sell one more box, and there's only one house left. And they happen to be in Switzerland in 1905. And Einstein is the last house that they can possibly sell cookies to.
Yes.
And of course he has nothing. He doesn't want to do anything with cookies because he's trying to figure out the theory of relativity. So the Animaniacs keep harassing him until finally he gives in and they help him with the theory of relativity. And I can't remember, does he even buy a box of cookies at the end?
No, but they find the theory of relativity, and they get the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he bought a box of cookies.
Hey, it's no merit badge, but it'll do.
What are your thoughts on this episode? I totally forgot about this episode, actually.
Yeah, I had no recollection of the episode.
Or the segment, I should say. Yes. Yeah. I remember very little of this segment at all. And yet it was very funny. I really enjoyed it a lot. Kelly, what did you like about this segment?
I like that it kind of reminds me of Wally Llama a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Because they're going to some famous person's place and annoying the heck out of them, and so to me it's kind of a precursor to that, because Wally Llama is one of my favorite episodes. But I really enjoyed it. I liked it does have a lot of great one-liners, and the thing about the pocket fisherman and dumber than advertised, and
yes.
I like the moment where he goes over to the board after Yakko has written Acme backwards, and he shakingly with his hand puts the equal sign in to make it the formula.
It's like the most dramatic moment ever.
It's very dramatic. It's like, oh, and there's special music and everything.
That's it.
And I really love that. So it's funny. It isn't quite as memorable as some of the other episodes, but it's a good little segment.
I was watching it and I was going, I didn't really remember this episode that much. And watching it, I was listening it, and I was hearing Paul Rugg's voice for Einstein, and he does many voices for the Animaniacs, and for me, his most famous voice was the voice of Freakazoid, and he wrote this episode as well. It is there are elements of this episode this segment that are very Freakazoid-ish, and I think that whole pocket fisherman thing, and then cutting to Dot and as the operator who's going to give you the mysteries of fudge for, there was a lot of chocolate themed in this one.
Yeah.
It was like, what did they say? It was, Bern, Switzerland, home of cheese, clocks, chocolate, and neutrality, but mostly chocolate. And
they see the hello Swiss Nurse Miss.
Yeah, Swiss Nurse Miss.
Yeah.
And Yakko had some excellent yodeling.
Yodelay-hee-hoo, yodel-ah-ah, yodelay-hee-hee, yodel-diddle-yaddle-diddle-doodle-doodle, double-dee-dee. Sorry, it's the chocolate talking.
Because he was totally high on chocolate or something right there. So that was that was cool. The episode was a lot sillier than I remember, and it was just cute. Nathan, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I thought of another joke that I really liked.
Okay.
It was the all right, fine, then leave.
All right, we got the picture. If you don't want any cookies, then just leave.
I'm not going to leave. This is my house.
All right, then, you leave.
Fine.
I think that's a classic, like almost a Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it was very Daffy Duckish.
Yeah,
but it was, they just got right to the point. There wasn't a duck season, wabbit season kind of like thing back and forth.
And yeah, to the point. Just loved it. And then I did like that it was still educational at the end. They do say energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, which is a energy mass conversion equation. So
exactly, and that is not the theory of relativity.
No, but kids.
That's one of the little notes that I have here from the digging deeper, is that E equals MC squared is not actually the theory of relativity, which I always thought it was, because that's just what it,
that's the one thing that of Einstein.
Yeah, he goes, oh, theory of relativity, yeah, E equals MC squared, yeah, got it. but that is actually, as Nathan said, the mass energy conversion formula. And this error is referenced later in season 3. Do you guys remember the Please, Please, Please Get a Life Foundation cartoon? It's in season 3, and it's one of the first really self-referencing episodes that goes and talks to all the nerds out there who were our age at the time of the Animaniacs, who are now in their 40s and 50s and stuff.
Yeah,
I was also, I really liked the other equations that Einstein wrote on the board. Did you notice any of those, Kelly?
I noticed them, but I didn't understand them.
Okay, this was my little puzzle thing that I was having fun. I was like, okay, we're going to write these things down. So one of them is H2O equals wet. Okay,
I understand that. I think it's WET. Is what it's
WET, yes.
And then is wet.
And then another one was S, which probably stands for sandwich, because it says equals BLT.
Oh.
There was another one that said STP equals OIL, so oil. So we have STP oil, and the one that was written on two different times. It was shown on chalkboards, which it's Nathan and I haven't heard Nathan's theory on this. It was P for something. Equals BM cubed. P equals BM cubed. Nathan, I had to look this one up. What did you find?
Yeah, what I found was prunes equals bowel movements to the third power.
Yes, that's what I found too.
I mean, I was brainstorming on it for a little while because I noticed that one and I was like, I don't know what that could be. So.
Yeah, my only guess is that it might be prunes equals bowel movement cubed, because for it to be shown 2 different times.
Yeah.
But if S equals sandwich, then I can see P equals prunes.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to find how to get in contact with Paul Rugg, because he might be the only one to actually tell us for sure what that actually symbolizes. So, Paul Rugg, if you're out there listening, go ahead and email us, animanicast@gmail.com. What does the P equal or stand for?
Get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Didn't mean
okay. So, but it was a funny episode. It was a very good. I keep saying episode, but it was a funny segment. I really did like that segment a lot. Before we move on, Kelly, any other thoughts, comments on segment 2?
No, I just think it's really cute and educational.
That's true. Yeah. We did get to get Einstein in there. And, yeah. And by the way, the pocket fisherman still exists. It's not a little guy, but you can get one. This is what happens when I have time. I'm like, do they still make the pocket fisherman? $15 at Walmart. You can get one. There you go. Ron
Does it
Popeil.
come with an outhouse?
Yes.
The pocket fisherman comes complete with fishing pole, tackle box, and potty. He may be small, but he eats.
He's small, but he eats. Okay, so moving on to segment 3 right now.
This is Maurice LaMarche, the voice of the brain, and you are listening to the Animanicast.
Okay, segment 3 is Win Big, and the story was written by Tom Ruger, written by Peter Hastings, and directed by Dave Marshall and Rusty Mills. Synopsis, well, Brain wants to win $99,000 so he can finish his oh gosh, now I'm going to mispronounce this. Infidibulator, thank you, to take over the world on the show Jip Parody. The device will deplete hydrogen, yada, yada. In fact, here, I'll just put in a sound quote here from Brain to tell us what exactly this does.
By using the infundibulator to deplete hydrogen and promote gravitational collapse, we will produce a magnetic charge from the center of the Earth so strong that every person who has loose change in their pockets will be magnetically drawn to the ground and stuck there.
Basically, yeah, everyone with spare change is going to hit the ground, get when the magnetic core increases or something, and then I don't know if that's the best plan in the world because right from the get-go, Brain's plan is going to, it's got to be very, very quick to take over the world very quickly before people take off their pants.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't work nowadays as well either. Everyone has credit cards.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking too. But
Apple
they have
Pay.
But they have smartphones. Those are magnetic.
Oh, there you go.
So
everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah. So even in fact, it would get even more people because even kids have phones and stuff in their pockets,
and no one wants to leave their smarphone.
Exactly.
Anything,
no one. So he would just keep them stuck on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's reboot Animaniacs and get this episode up again. He goes on the show Jeopardy, but of course he gets so close to getting the money he needs, but he loses on the last Jeopardy question, which was which TV character was known for saying "bang zoom" right in the kisser, which Pinky does know, of course. Now I'm going to go right to you, Kelly, again, because you are a Jeopardy enthusiast, I believe.
Yes, I every year I take the online test, and last year I actually passed the online test and was able to do an in-person interview with a mock game, and I'm still currently in the contestant pool, at least through December, so there's a chance that I could get called at any moment and to appear on the show.
Sweet. So. Well, and then you'll know the answer to, bang zoom right in the kisser. Because of this episode. Now, I didn't know this, but this was actually, I guess, based upon an actual episode of The Honeymooners called the $99,000 Answer. And in that, I guess, again, I'm going off of Wikipedia, so I could be completely wrong right now.
Just making it up again.
Making it up. But apparently Ralph Cramden actually had a very similar situation, so they're just kind of doing definitely homages to The Honeymooners in this, not only direct, like, here's Ralph Cramden, but here's the episode right here where we're actually going to, basically do the exact same thing.
You always play da 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 before you go in and play the song I'm trying to guess.
If I told you once, I told you 100 times. It's the only way I can warm up before I play the piano.
For the last time, Alice, I'm telling you, I'm going for the $99,000 question.
For the last time, Ralph, I'll be very proud if you win the $600.
$600? Peanuts. What am I going to do with peanuts?
Eat 'em like any other elephant.
Bang zoom!
For $100, are you ready?
I certainly am.
All right, Mr. Cramden, for $100, who is the composer of Swanee River?
Swanee River?
That's right, Swanee River. Can we have a few bars of Swanee River, Jose?
That's Swanee River?
That's right. Now, who's the composer? Your time's running out. Hurry up. You better take a guess.
Ed Norton?
This is, of course, our first Pinky and the Brain short. Hugh Pettibone was on the books of in the lab. Okay, and as the Pinky and the Brain are moving stuff around, Hugh Pettibone, and I had to look that guy up. I said, "Who's Hugh Pettibone? Like, is that just a nonsense name?" But no, it made perfect sense. He was the background artist or designer for the Animaniacs, as well as a bunch of other different cartoon shows. So I'm guessing Mr. Pettibone put his name in the cartoon for everyone to see, written on a book. That's kind of cool. And this was, of course, featuring the Brain's first robot body, which I always love seeing this robot body. It reminds me so much of like Frankenstein or young Frankenstein, just kind of walking around. And he didn't do it this much in this one, but I believe in other episodes it even goes through walls and you can't stop this monster from going. Kelly, do you remember? Now, this was not Alex Trebek. Do you know who is the host of Jeopardy?
Alex Quebec.
That's right. That was such a little subtle thing that I actually had to rewind it and go, did they just say Quebec? That's funny. It's a very funny episode. There's a lot of right from the start, the Pinky and the Brain characters, they're right on characters.
Yeah, they're well defined. I think right away,
and you don't need to ask. I mean, I love the theme song at the beginning because it tells you the setup for these two mice. Mm-hmm. What the heck is wrong with them? One is dumb and one is smart, and there they go. They want to take over the world. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I've been talking for way too long. What do you guys think about this episode or segment?
I loved it. Pinky and the Brain are one of my favorites of the Animaniacs. There is the fan theory. I don't know if you've heard of it. Where, one is a genius and the other's insane. The theory is Pinky's the genius and the brain is insane. They never say who's. And then, so as I'm watching these episodes, I'm going to watch for that. I know it's a little, like in this episode, Pinky's the one that knows the final answer.
Yes.
So, and the fan theory is that Pinky's always just trying to stop the brain from, that's why he just pretends to be dumb, because he knows that there's this insane mouse that's trying to take over the world. So, it's pretty far out there, but I think there'll be some episodes that will match the theory more than this episode did, because this one I was like, he seemed pretty dumb.
So, Kelly, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, as being actual hopeful Jeopardy contestant yourself, what did you like about this episode?
Oh, well, it's one of my favorites. I love Brain and his suit and his little tiny head in the suit. And I love the fact that he's got Brain written on the screen, but Alex Quebec keeps calling him Brian.
Yes.
And he keeps, it's Brain.
That's correct, Brian. That's Brain.
And
Yes.
And I love the little like nonsensical categories, like King's name Mashushu.
Yes.
And they're just such off the wall, answers and questions, and it's a lot of little details. I mean, the Alex Quebec's funny because it sounds like his name, and he's actually Canadian.
Yeah, it makes you're mentioning.
Yeah, so a lot of little subtleties and pop culture references and everything, and it's just fun, and it always makes me laugh.
So King Mushushu, that's totally made up then?
I think so, because I Googled it before the unless I'm just like, unless I was completely misspelling it or something.
Yeah. I did Google.
I don't think it's a real thing.
I did Google the Isle of Yap because I was like, what? Is that real? And I did come up with an island. It's in Micronesia. None of the other islands that Brain mentioned, though, were there. So I think all those are nonsense. I also really liked the Brain. Really, when it comes between Pinky and the Brain, I really do like Pinky, but the Brain is my favorite. I love Maurice LaMarche's delivery of his lines. They're just so funny. Like, I am not devoid of humor.
I am not devoid of humor.
Or just the way he can just spout off the digits of pi.
What is it that he says when, because I can't remember, but Pinky's like, "You astound me, Brain," and he's like, that's not very surprising, or that shouldn't be too hard, or something.
Yes.
I can't remember what his exact response, but it was hilarious.
Yes.
Hey, God, you astound me, Brain.
That's a simple task, Pinky.
Yeah, and the only kind of thing I noticed that was different, like if there was going to be some sort of little bit of character development or change in voice, because I know like sometimes in cartoons, the voice actor sounds a little bit different. Like you could watch early episodes of Futurama, for example, and Fry and Bender both sound not exactly how Fry and Bender should sound. And the only thing I think is a little off, perhaps, is maybe how Pinky says brain in this. He goes brain, like a BW sound, instead of a BR. So it's
almost two syllables.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if that's just my memory playing tricks on me, or if that actually changes at all. But yes, it's very Monty Python-esque kind of voice right there from Rob Paulsen. And Narf, I mean, and Point. We get two of his
classic catchphrases
right away. I don't know what those mean. I don't know the origin of narf or point, but as we go forward, I'll have to look those up. I don't know if they wrote those down or if those were just improv words from Rob Paulsen. I'm assuming they're Rob Paulsen's improv, but we'll have to find out. Is that it? Are we already done?
There's the last segment.
Oh, yes.
Wheel of Morality.
That's right. The Wheel of Morality.
It's that time again.
Some cartoon shows had, like famously G.I. Joe had, you had to have a lesson at the end, and He-Man and She-Ra and all those cartoons, they had to be educational at the end. So they had to teach kids, what to do if, a stranger gives you candy, or always tell the truth, or whatever.
Remember, it's better to tell the truth.
And that's no lie. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I.
Joe! And the Animaniacs really put this on its head and to make it incredibly silly. So they had the Wheel of Morality. Now, this was done for episodes where they had a few minutes to kill. Yeah. And they could easily put this in. In fact, the opening and closing animation of it is exactly the same. They run in and then they run out. They play the same music. They change the voice, and sometimes they even overdub the previous animation. So it was a very cheap segment to produce, but it was very funny. Today's moral was,
if at first you don't succeed, blame it on your parents.
How deep?
I don't know about you, but I'm touched.
In the head.
If at first you don't succeed, blame it on your parents. So that was I think it's a very millennial thing.
I think kids take it to heart now.
Yeah, we took it to heart, I think, and now people our age, and yes. So I really like the Wheel of Morality. I did always look forward to that as a kid. What do you guys think? Anything about the Wheel of Morality we should mention?
I like that song. The turn, turn, turn. What is the lesson we must learn?
Yes. Yeah. That is cool.
It's catchy.
I always liked it. It was just kind of a little final bit before the episode ended.
Yeah. It was. I wish I had somewhere we do have on Animaniacs on VHS, but as cool as it is seeing it on Netflix or maybe DVD, I think you miss some of the with the commercial segments. Mm-hmm. To take that break away from the show and just kind of like crossing your fingers when you come back.
Yeah, I remember really hoping that there was still more to the show.
Have a little bit more. Like the Wheel of Morality was just kind of that little extra bit that you could have before it goes to the credits. And it was always kind of a bummer when the commercials would go through and then it would just go right to the credits.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, hopefully it'll be something different at the end that I haven't seen before. And sometimes it would be, sometimes it wouldn't. But Wheel of Morality was always like, oh, good, the show's not quite over yet.
Yeah. One more joke.
Exactly. So that's all good. And I always love that. So that's good. We're gonna have to keep a list of these morals and these quotes. And actually, you know what we should do? We should start a business where we can take all the different quotes, and those little vinyl letters, those things you can put on your wall that have like inspirational quotes from people. You can go to Kohl's. You can go to Kohl's and you can put like a sentence on your wall. You know what I'm talking about, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should make these. See, somebody does. You could take these, and I could actually make these and make like inspirational quotes from the Wheel of Morality.
Well, now that you have it on the podcast, someone's going to steal it.
No, okay, well, there we go. It's in the public domain now. Okay, well, with that pretty much wraps up our episode for today, episode 2. A really great episode, and we're going to go ahead and go right to our water tower rating, because
that's the time that it is now.
It's the time that it is. So who would like to go first? Who wants to give their water tower rating right now?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I will give it 5
Ooh.
out of 5.
Yes.
Mostly because of Yakko's world.
Yes.
I mean, that alone will give it five water towers. But I don't consider any of the segments to be remotely weak. They were all funny. They all have great songs and great introduction of Pinky and the Brain. It was just all around a really stellar episode.
Excellent. Nathan, what do you think?
I'm going to give it 4.5 water towers.
Okay.
The minus half is for the repeat of the beginning segment, tricking me into thinking that I had already watched it.
Even though you selected a new episode on Netflix.
But it made me think, oops, I hit the same episode again instead of hitting
mean
episode. And I think the Einstein is probably not one of my favorite segments, but it was still quite enjoyable. But because of those two reasons, I do love Yakko's World and Pinky and the Brain. Are so good, worth watching over and over and over and over.
Yes. I'm going to go 4.5 as well. I don't know why I'm not going to give it a full 5 just because I'm just going to hold off for
the second episode. Yeah, you can't get 5 on them.
Well, no, Kelly did. But I can understand why this is like the Kelly episode, I think. Like, it is the Kellyest episode there is of Animaniacs in some ways.
It's a very special episode.
Yes. So I can't blame her for giving it 5 water towers. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4.5 water towers as well. And honestly, I would have maybe given it 4, but that Einstein segment was really good. And I totally forgot about the little songs they sang, just the little quick songs of like selling cookies and then the Acme song. Those are 2 songs. I mean, I listened to the Animaniacs CDs all the time as a kid. And I say as a kid, I was a teenager. But I listened. Yeah, well, yeah, quite often sometimes. But I totally, those weren't on any of the CDs I had. I mean,
they're too short.
Well, they're too short, and they played a plot to, purpose more than they wouldn't make any sense singled out. But they're cute songs, and they were just really, I don't know, really great episode. And I mean, I've seen the Jeopardy one so many times growing up that that one's just a classic and still very funny all around. A very funny and educational episode in all 3 segments, really.
I'll have a little trivia or something you'll learn each episode. So.
There we go. So we all learned something out there today. That's so fantastic. Okay, so last week we had a poll, ladies and gentlemen, that was asking you, what is your favorite Animaniacs song? And we had 3 different choices. One of them was Yakko's World. The other one was The Presidents of the United States. And the third one was the United States, the U.S. states and their capitals. And we had several responses once again, and it was
good.
Good. It was it was not surprising, is what I was going to say, because Yakko's World really, it was kind of ran away with the votes. I think actually It was U.S. states and their capitals got 11% of the vote, a favorite song of the 3. 24% went to Presidents of the United States, and then 65% went to Yakko's World. I'm sure one of those votes was definitely Kelly's right there. So there we go. So let's just share. Now, Kelly, we know obviously for you, Yakko's World's got to be your favorite out of those 3.
That's my jam.
Yeah, it's your jam. And Nathan, what about you?
Personally, I went for I know what I went for.
What did you go for?
The Presidents of the United States.
Why did you go for the Presidents of the United States?
That's the only way I know that any presidents was from that song. Except also James K. Polk from They Might Be Giants.
That's true. James K. Polk by They Might Be Giants does introduce you quite a bit.
One president.
To one president, yes. Yep. If you want to get into in-depth information about James K. Polk, thank you, They Might Be Giants. But yes, I don't remember what I voted for. I'm going to say it was Yakko's World, but I really do, especially when it comes to those presidents kind of in between Thomas Jefferson and Lincoln.
Yeah.
The President of the United States song helps so much with not only giving you information about the presidents, like the order they're in, but also just a little bit of quick trivia about them.
Yeah, each one is a little something, and then most importantly, their name is.
Yes, and make it all rhyme, which was cool. So
when I've been studying for Jeopardy, the online test at various years, I listen to that song over and over again just to kind of refresh my memory.
Yeah. It's
so helpful.
Yes, it's a great song. So let's go ahead and introduce our next poll, because
we have a new one.
Woo. We're not letting our listeners just sit there and not do anything. You have to go, ladies and gentlemen, to our Twitter page, which is twitter.com/Animanicast, or just follow Animanicast, and I'll have this poll pinned to the top of the page. And the following is the question. The following is the question, and English is what I am saying. So we're going to find out what tertiary or, side characters you like the most, other than Pinky and the Brain. Now, obviously, we have Yakko, Wakko, and Dot as the main characters, and I would say second billing is really Pinky and the Brain right underneath them.
Yeah.
But the Animaniacs has a large selection of reoccurring characters that you'll see quite often on the show. And I'm going to list them off right here. And then what I want you to do is just head on over to the Twitter page and then vote for your favorite. So here they are. Your choices are Rita and Runt, Slappy and Skippy Squirrel, the Good Feathers, the Hip Hippos, or Mindy and Buttons. Lots of...
when you're reading those out, it makes me think of Alex Trebek reading out Jeopardy categories, and mentally, between everyone, I was going, bing, bing, bing.
I'll take the Hip Hippos for $200, Alex.
I'm obsessed with that show. Yeah, it was just funny. Sorry.
That'll be my next gig, actually. Yeah,
oh,
I just
cool.
need to grow a mustache, or maybe not. It just depends on. Does Alex have a mustache right now or not?
Currently, I don't think so. I'm a little behind in my viewings.
Okay. Gotta catch up on that on my DVR. So there we go. There's our choices. Head on over to Twitter right now and check it out.
Because this is an interactive podcast.
Yes. We don't let you just sit there and just listen. And hey, while we're at it, head on over to iTunes and leave a positive review for us. Now, I know please leave a positive review. If you don't like the show, okay, you can just move along.
But leave a positive review when you move along.
Yeah, but sure. Just, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, right?
And say something nice.
And then say something nice. Nathan and I already left a review. So, if you're looking for some examples of positive reviews, you can just check out our reviews that Nathan and I put down as a template.
Wait, we're supposed to leave positive reviews?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to change my review.
Nathan.
Just kidding.
Okay. So, anyway. So, check that out. Okay. Let's go ahead and give out the contact information one more time. Once again, we are on Twitter at Animanicast. On Facebook, you can see us at facebook.com/Animanicast. Go ahead and send us an email at animanicast@gmail.com. And let's go ahead and once again give out any contact information for you two. Kelly, if people wanted to get in contact with you, just say hi. Where should they go?
You can email me, Kelly, Kelly, @bigshinyrobot.com. Or I'm on Twitter, not so much lately, but if you message me, I'll probably go on it more often. Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS.
And Nathan?
I am on Twitter at DjangoFT. That's FT for Nathan. Django FT.
Yeah. And I didn't give out my contact. If for some reason anybody wants to see me or say hi, Joey in Tucson is my Twitter. So there you go. So for the Animanicast, I'm Joey.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm cute.
Good night, everybody. This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Oh, my heart aches with the sorrow of 1,000 scouts. No merit badge. I mourn my loss.
Say, those acting classes are really paying off.
Think so?